guys, it's Jess from Stark Skincare and welcome to the Stark Creative Lab once again. Today I want to talk to you guys about a topic that I find very interesting and that I think is very relevant right now, and that is pricing in green beauty. So recently, actually it was just yesterday, one of my beloved colleagues announced that she was doing a price increase. And of course it had the whole community in a big kerfuffle. This is an already very premium brand, very luxurious, and her prices are already quite high, I think. Worth it, it's good quality stuff. But I think her increase was something like 18%, which is pretty steep and hard to swallow for a lot of people, and just in terms of her products still being affordable for most people. And unfortunately, she had to raise her prices due to a long-standing administrative error, essentially, which is really unfortunate. But I thought that it would be a good time to talk about Stark's pricing and kind of our beliefs in that and what we've done with our pricing scheme. So if you've been a long-time Stark customer, you may have noticed that our prices have actually decreased this year, or like with our relaunch. So all of our prices actually dropped between 10 and 15%, and I think a couple of our products was even closer to 20. And this is kind of the pricing that we will stay at for a while. And it's possible that in the future that we even decrease it just a little bit more, just a smidge, depending on, how sales go. So the reason why we did this, and a price decrease is really weird in business because, of course, we live in a time of inflation and materials are just getting more and more expensive in this industry as it's booming. My costs have gone up a lot over the years. So you might be wondering how it's possible for a company like Stark to be able to afford to decrease prices when all of my costs are going up. Well, back in 2015, we basically changed our business model and we cut out wholesale. So that means that you're not going to find Stark in any stores, online or brick and mortar, ever, basically. And that was a really scary decision for me to make because that meant cutting out a lot of my sales and a lot of my income and a lot of my revenue, and also a lot of my reach, because being in a store is great for exposure, and being in bigger online retailers with a lot of well-known brands is great for my exposure. However, wholesale never felt good to me. I'm a solo entrepreneur, and so I felt it very stressful to keep up with the demand, and I just didn't really enjoy the way that it was being handled. The fact that I'm just a very easygoing person, there was never any contracts in place. Not that I ever got, screwed over or anything like that, but I had a hard time making certain demands, or I would have sort of these expectations, but there was never anything in place. And anyways, it was just, I just felt disappointed and stressed out often about wholesale. And so I was looking at different companies that I really admired and companies that I purchased from, such as Warby Parker and Everlane, who I feel like I've been a champion for these brands for since they came out. And I thought to myself, well, why don't I basically do the same thing? I love being transparent. I love talking about how I run my business and just why I decide to price things the way I do and just the inside processes of the business. And I love that business model. I love seeing it in other companies, and I love that they were direct to consumer, and I love dealing directly with my consumers. So it felt like it just felt right for me to move into that direction. And so in 2015, that's what we did. We said goodbye to our wholesalers. which meant that my margins completely changed, because whenever you take out wholesale, which is always 50% of retail, or generally 50% of retail, then you're left with a new margin. So because my margins increased, I thought, why not share some of that benefit with my customers by dropping my prices? Now, I didn't do it right away because I wanted to do a little wait and see and just kind of test out the new waters. But 2 years have passed and I didn't feel a huge hit financially. I mean, we're very careful with our money, and we, I'm not a big spender, and I don't believe in going into debt, and because it took me years to get out of student debt, and I'm just very prudent, and because I didn't feel a huge financial hit from dropping wholesale, I decided that why not? This makes me feel better, and it gives a benefit to my customer, and it's a business model that I believe in, so why not? So we dropped our prices once we hit about the 2-year mark and knew that it was a good time to do that. So by cutting out those middlemen, like I said, that our margins were increased. We have no salespeople, and we have no international distribution either. So that means that, yeah, if you're in France, you can definitely purchase from me, but all of the importing is going to be handled by the customer, which in the end, the customer would absorb that price anyways. So it's just, by taking it out of my hands, I don't need to be dealing with that side of things, because I'm in Canada, so I do a lot of importing and exporting as is, because half of my materials have to come from the States, because we don't have packaging in Canada for some insane reason. And like like 3/4 of my ingredients all come from Canada and are mostly local, but there's certain things that do come from the US. So, I've got my fair share of importing and exporting, and I've worked that into my pricing scheme, but extra things like international distribution, I just leave that to my international customers to deal with. So it's not super fair, but in the end, that price would be, like I said, reflected in my pricing anyways. So where I've wanted to keep my prices is, I believe that Stark is extremely luxurious. I use really good ingredients, really high quality from some of the best suppliers in the world, that a lot of big companies and small companies also use. Almost everything that I use is organic and fair trade. We are not certified though, but my suppliers are. And I spend most of my money on those things. I spend most of my money, or like Stark's money, on materials and ingredients, because that's where I believe that you guys want to be spending your money. Like, you don't give a rat's butt about paying for like my Facebook ads. Like, I spend maybe $20 a year on Facebook ads. I'm horrible at doing them anyways. So like, I'm not spending on advertising. I'm not spending money on salespeople. I don't have any. The only thing that I've outsourced is my shipping, and like, I don't do my own graphic design, and I don't do my own accounting, but I'm gonna fire my accountant. I hope Alan's not watching. Anyways, and I don't do things like free samples, because that actually costs a lot of money in shipping. It costs a lot of money in materials. And so instead I offer the little 15 ml sizes of the oils. So by streamlining and simplifying my whole business, I've been able to keep my costs really, really low. So because I don't give free stuff out, because I don't have full-time employees, because I don't have salespeople, because I don't market really, and because I don't have any kind of middlemen, and especially I don't have to price my products so that I would still make a profit at wholesale, I'm able to keep my prices really low. And I don't spend a lot of money on my packaging. I use, I think, really beautiful, I think Stark looks beautiful and lovely, but I don't use the most expensive packaging on the market. I am really picky and I take a long time to make decisions. but I decided against the black Myron bottles. I do use them for the perfume though, because I don't believe that a skincare product that I make fresh and that you use within a couple of months needs to be in that kind of bottle, because those bottles are created so that the integrity of the product is maintained for a really long time. Hence why I use it for perfume, because perfume takes a long time to get through, but a face wash doesn't really. So I didn't really see the benefit in buying, although they're gorgeous, bottles that are like how much, I can't, like probably about 30 times the price of my bottles, and just to pass along that expense to you. I do believe that skincare should be super high quality and a luxurious experience, but I don't think that you need to be paying for pretty much useless stuff that just doesn't translate to anything for you. So that's kind of my ethos, and that's what I decided to do with Stark. So I hope you appreciate it. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I keep all of my systems just really simple, and I'm really happy with this business model. And I really think that it might be a game changer in my industry, because pricing has just become, I'm sorry to say, but insane. When I started out, there was a few really luxury brands, and my pricing was even considered, like my positioning was sort of in the luxury, just a little bit below. But now, I mean, there's oils that are, you know, over like $250, close to $300 US for, you know, just a bottle of oil. And I'm sure I've tried some of them, and I'm like, yeah, some of them are beautiful, and people can spend their money however they like, and I think that that's amazing, but I don't think it's super necessary. And so yeah, so that's it, kind of. Hope this has been helpful. Sorry for my ums. Sorry that I say sorry all the time, but I'm Canadian, I can't help it. And I love talking business stuff, so if this is interesting to you, leave a comment. I would love to discuss more about how I run my business. So take care. Nice talking with you guys. Bye.